Monday, October 25th, 2021, and welcome to the Capital Allocation channel. Today, I want to give you an update on Bitcoin, Monero, Pirate Chain, and Dero. And towards the end of the video, I want to give you some tips on how to increase privacy on your mobile device. Thank you all for listening. Let's get right to the content. All right, let's start with Bitcoin. So right now, Bitcoin is sitting around 63,000. We came up to over 66, pulled back. I honestly have no idea where Bitcoin's going at the moment. TradingView is showing it as a buy. Personally, I can't predict where things are going. This is more of a probability and not a guarantee. So the way I look at it, my personal strategy is I always hold some position of Bitcoin in my portfolio. If it goes down, I buy more. If it goes up, I tend to trim. So personally, with Bitcoin sitting at 63,000, if you ask me, would I rather have one Bitcoin or 35 ounces of gold or 60 ounces of platinum, something like that, or a ton of silver, I would definitely personally choose to be more heavily weighted towards physical precious metals, and in addition, due to risks to internet security. And if you want to look up Cyber Polygon and the recent cyber attacks that have been happening lately, look into that and you can see why. But again, I always hold Bitcoin, so I'm not saying sell all your Bitcoin. I would never do that. I'm still a bull on Bitcoin, and I think long term it has great prospects. But at this point, we'll have to see what it's going to do. If we can get up past here, there's nothing but open space above, so there's no telling where we could go. But if we get a pullback, we know in the crypto space, these pullbacks can shake out a lot of the leverage, and I do think there are a lot of people highly leveraged. So we could see an aggressive pullback here. But again, it's more probabilities, and the way I like to look at it is I like to be in a winning position no matter what happens. So if it pulls back, it doesn't hurt me, and I'll just average in. And if it goes up, then that's great. I'll probably trim when the technicals start to look really weak. So that's just kind of the way I think about it. If you have any strategies, something like using market cipher, that type of thing, to trade, let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear. Monero juked me out, I'll be honest with you guys. So Monero, I trimmed my position when it broke down below this 20 EMA. What I thought is that it had gotten rejected off this triangle here, and I figured we would be making our way lower. It ended up popping up out of this triangle, and as you can see, this trend line here, when it broke up out of there, you get these aggressive moves. So TradingView still has this as a buy. For me, this is a really good sign. I will probably be buying any pullback here, and again, I just have a position of Monero that is my top holding of cryptos overall, and my goal is to try and use it more and more. Pirate Chain. So Pirate Chain is just been doing nothing, honestly. Probably many people are disappointed to see this. It really doesn't bother me. Personally, I'm fine to buy it at a lower price. Again, my strategy is I like to position myself to where if anything tanks, I don't get destroyed. So I have a holding in Pirate, and whenever I get paid, if it goes down, I'm going to buy more and just try to use it and just get away from fiat in general. That is my goal, not necessarily to get rich quick, but to get free as quickly as possible. And getting rich, basically, in my opinion, comes with freedom. The freer you are, historically, the richer the society tends to be. So Dero, it looks like Dero has finally made a pivot here. If I look at this on the Fibonacci, I try to gauge what is the relative strength of the technicals here. So here we're approaching the 38.2% retracement. That is near this 20 EMA. If we tend to get a shallow retracement, that would suggest if we start to roll over here, that would suggest we'll tend to go lower faster. If we get a deeper retracement here towards the 50 or 61.8% Fibonacci, that would tend to not necessarily tank as quickly. Here it looks like we could be making a head and shoulders. If you look here, would be the left shoulder, the head, and we'll see if this confirms. We do have previous resistance here at the $22 and around 40-cent level, and that's around this 50% retracement. So that 50% retracement and this 20 EMA here, so anywhere between 20.7 and here around 22.40 would be a key level that we could see a pivot and a rollover, which would confirm this head and shoulders. If we do confirm that, I have to check this real quick. Yeah, the price target would be $8.20. I don't necessarily believe that, honestly. I think there's too much resistance here. I think if we pulled back, we would get some resistance before we hit that level, maybe around this prior resistance here. We would probably tend to get support around 16 or so, and then another area around 1390. So that's what I'm looking at in the short term. I did call the top a top here when I saw these two long wicks when it was around 22. So we will see if this downtrend confirms, and if we do get a confirmed head and shoulders here and go lower. Let me know what you all think about that. And like I said, my strategy is to make sure that I don't get destroyed regardless of what happens, and these markets don't sleep, so I always tend to be a little extra cautious with cryptos. I just wanted to mention, so sorry I didn't make a video for the last couple days, give you an update. I was actually at a protest in Nashville. If you want to check out Ryan Christian, The Last American Vagabond, and Derek Bros of The Conscious Resistance. And when I was down there, there was a speaker named Ramiro Romani, and he has a company called Take Back Our Tech. So he gave an interesting talk showing how basically the operating systems in Apple and Android phones collect tons of data at the operating system level. So there are many levels in which data is collected that you may or may not feel comfortable with. And many people don't necessarily know that at the operating system level, these companies, these phones are collecting data. So this is a free website where there are basically tips on how to get rid of some of this, both at the operating system level, the app level, and also at the telecommunication company level. So this I found interesting. This is just another kind of tool that people should consider. And if you're interested, he does sell these phones with different operating systems that do not do that. One is the Graphene operating system, and one is the Calyx operating system. So I'm not getting anything from this. I just wanted to make you guys aware. It is definitely a little pricey. If you have some crypto gains, it could be worth it to you. but it all depends. But whether you get this or not, the one advice he said that I totally agree with was to get as many people to use Linux operating system as possible and kind of get rid of some of this. Another thing that I do personally use, and again, I'm not getting anything from this, it's just something, in this case, I can personally verify that it does work, the silent pocket, and I try to use this when I'm traveling so my location isn't necessarily known, and just trying to prevent these companies from selling my data, from giving them value where it's really none of their business to be tracking where people are going and what they're doing. So I try to keep my phone here as much as possible these days, and again, I'm going to try and switch to these more private types of operating systems and um, and tools so that I don't necessarily have to do this in the future, but short term, this is my solution. So feel free to use this. Just trying to share my knowledge as I grow, as I learn more about these different systems. I think this is one underrated area that people should be more aware of. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you all are doing well, and I will see you all in the next one.